What's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs. Look, I got a lot of questions that come to me through my social media platforms, and I wanted to do a different kind of video today. And what I'm going to do is answer some of the frequently asked questions that I usually get as a real estate investor coming up. My biggest motivation to get started in the business, it's kind of funny because when I was in junior high school, I wasn't even thinking about business at this time, but when I was in junior high school, I used to work in a real estate office. But that didn't necessarily motivate me. I think what motivated me the most was when right out of high school, I went down to Wall Street and I saw guys literally my age making millions upon millions of dollars. And that was actually my original goal. I wanted to focus on becoming a broker and building a successful income, successful business on Wall Street. But what happened was 9/11 came about and that company that I was working for closed down. So I didn't necessarily want to rebuild what I already started. So a friend of mine was in real estate. He was an agent at the time, and he was talking about real estate all the time, showing me these checks. And I was just intrigued by it. So that kind of motivated me to at least give it a try. But I'm the type of person that when I get into something, I don't go halfway on anything that I do. I give it 200%, and I'll give it enough time to see if I'm going to be successful at it. Lo and behold, it took me 13 months to get my first $1,500 check. After that, it was $48,000, and that just changed my life completely. I was 21 years old at that time. So I wasn't necessarily motivated by any one particular person. I was motivated by the idea. I didn't know what it was going to be when I was younger, but I was motivated by doing something that was going to pay big bucks. So yeah, you could say I was actually in it for the money at first, and then I kind of grew to like what I do over time. Does money buy happiness? And that's a great question. I think money solves problems, but it definitely does not buy happiness. You know what buys happiness? You know what creates happiness, in my opinion? Helping other people. I know that's kind of cliche. You might hear it a lot, but in my honest, humblest opinion, and I'm a follower of Christ, I truly believe that helping other people is the key to being happy yourself. Jesus even said it, at the end of the day, there's more happiness in giving than it is in receiving. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to let people take advantage of you. And, obviously you can't help every single body in the world. But in my honest, humblest opinion, you cannot be happy if you're not helping somebody else. Money doesn't buy the happiness. It eliminates certain problems. It eliminates poor people problems, we call them, right? Maybe you don't have to worry about paying bills when you have money, or the same kind of bills. But it doesn't eliminate problems. I know Biggie said it one time, right? Biggie and Puff, they said more money, more problems at the end of the day. That can be true as well. So that's a key indicator that money doesn't bring real happiness. In my honest, humblest opinion, and it's just me being real with you, I think that what brings true happiness is serving God and helping other people. That's it. That's what brings real happiness. Because you can be happy without the money, even if you are broke right now. There's people out there who are absolutely 100% happy and they don't have a dime to their name. So that's how I feel about money. When people say money brings happiness, I think that's a lie. One thing that I always wanted when I didn't have it, when I was down, again, I kind of revert everything back to Wall Street because that's kind of where it all started for me. I was a kid. I was literally 18 going on 19 when I was on Wall Street. But one thing that I used to always see, they had the brokers down there had fancy cars and Rolexes. So I always said to myself, I'm gonna have a nice car, a nice house, and I'm gonna get a Rolex. So when I started making some money, one of my first lavish purchases was a Rolex. And I still have that Rolex today. It was something that kind of symbolized for me that I made it. And it was something I always wanted. And I ended up getting it. Now, I like to buy myself nice things, but I really like to buy my family. I like to do nice things for my family. So I would rather get my wife and my kids something than before I think about myself. And then I'll worry about myself after. But that time, I really wanted a Rolex, and I went out and I bought a $12,000 watch, and still got it today. The short answer to the question is no, you don't need a license to buy houses. So that's just like saying, yo, I want to go out and buy my own personal residence. Do I need to go get a license to buy my own personal residence? The answer is no, right? Are there benefits to having a license? Yes. You have access to more data, and in any business, data is king, right? So in a real estate business, you have access to more comparable sales. You have more access to properties, more buyers, and more access to a larger network of people when you're licensed as an agent. But on the flip side of that, it can also hinder you, because sometimes you can lose trust with homeowners as you're doing business with these property owners. Sometimes they might feel like you're licensed, so you're taking advantage of them, because you have to reveal when you're an agent, you have to reveal that you're an agent. So there's some pros and cons to it. I let my license go back in 2006. I had a license from 2004 to 2006 when I was a real estate broker back in Brooklyn, but I let it go. I make far more money as an investor without a license than I did as an agent investor when I was licensed as an agent and a broker. So at the end of the day, no, you don't need a license. And would I waste the time to go get a license? Listen to what I just said. Would I waste the time? To me, is a waste of time. I just wouldn't, and that's just my personal preference. Others might beg to differ, but for me, I think it's a waste of time going out to get a license to sell somebody else's house. When you could buy that house, flip it, and sell it as your own. My biggest roadblock when I started in this business was I was absolutely broke. So remember, I was 21 years old. I was living in my grandmother's house in the projects in Brooklyn, New York. Everything was too expensive. I didn't have a dime of money to my name. And the only good thing that I had going for me was I had drive, and I had my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and she had my back. We've been through a lot of different things together, from being absolutely broke, not knowing what we were gonna do, not knowing where we were gonna get money to eat, and all of these things just kind of played against me at the time, and at the same time, it motivated me to push even harder, because I didn't want my lifestyle to be the way it was. And I pushed and I worked hard, and I didn't make excuses. And back then we didn't have as much competition as we do today. And we're talking back in 2002. But at the end of the day, for me, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the credit, I didn't have the knowledge, but I had the drive. So those were my biggest hurdles that I had getting into business. But again, like everybody else, I started from the ground up. I didn't make excuses. I have success today, but I was barely scratching the surface when I started. Not even knowing where we were gonna sleep at certain times. I could write a whole book about that. That's a whole nother video for another day. But I had a ton of hurdles. All odds were against me, but I hung in there and I pushed through and I made it happen. No excuses. And that's why I teach my students, no holds barred. no mercy, because I didn't have mercy. Nobody showed me how to do this. I learned how to do it on my own. I made it happen. I had a ton of hurdles, and because of that, I am where I am today. And I push others to do the same thing, especially when they want to quit and they want to give up. I'm going to say this: I hate when people give up too early, because I know what it took for me to get to where I am. So, at the end of the day, I would say no money, no credit, and no family with business experience at that time. No real support. Nobody was able to help me because my family didn't know the first thing about business. I'm the first person in my family to actually start a business. So all of these different things, all odds were against me. I've experienced a lot of different things outside of that, but those were the top three. Do I have any regrets? That's a great question. For me, what I regret, first of all, I don't have regrets, but I have lessons I learned from. When I first started making a lot of money, so think about it, I started when I was 21. By the time I was 25, I bought $1 million in real estate already. And I was still living in the projects in Brooklyn, New York. Then I moved to Pennsylvania, and I bought a couple of 100 houses there, and that really just changed my life. But when I started making a lot of money, I started spending a lot of money. Again, I come from a background where we don't know what it was to have, or what it is to have money. We wasn't educated financially. Our education was going to high school, making sure we get a high school diploma, not even college, a high school diploma, and then turning around and making sure you try to get a city job where you could get on a union or try to work for somebody in order to get a paycheck. I saw it at a very young age. When my mom, she taught me how to hustle. She taught me how to make money. And, for me, just not having that real financial education, as I started making money, the more I made, the more I spent. So if I made, if you make $100,000 and you spend $100,000, you're still broke, right? You just have a different kind of broke problem, right? So for me, I was spending more than I was actually making. And because of that, when that market tanked back in 2008, 2007, I really took a hit. I wasn't smart with my money. I learned from it, and I'm back on my feet today. Yeah, so, real estate is something I truly aspire. I really want to I have a successful real estate operation at the moment, but I really want to take it to a whole nother level. I'm jumping into commercial real estate. A couple of years ago, we were building new construction properties, communities, 33 houses on 12 acres of land. I slowed down on the new construction aspect of things, but my next focus is really to take my real estate business into the commercial world and really turn that world up. And in addition to that, I have my software, the Investor Deal Pro software, where I'm really looking to grow and scale that. It's a brand new software. It's been out for a couple of months. And I'm looking to really take that and help investors automate their business. In addition to my masterminds and stuff like that we have in the education platform. So other than being with my family, because I spend 95, probably at this point, 99% of my time with my wife and kids. And now my dad lives here in North Carolina. He literally just moved here. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my father as well. The number one thing that I like to do as a hobby is bodybuilding. I absolutely love going to the gym. I've been doing it just as long as I've been doing real estate. I've been working out my entire life, but I used to do natural bodybuilding competitions back in fact, my last one was back in 2004, where I won Mr. New York City. So we're talking 16 years ago. But actually, as of the date we're actually shooting this video, tomorrow, I'm starting on a 6-month diet, and I'm looking to shred down. Not necessarily doing a show, I'm doing it for fun for myself. I don't do competitions anymore, but I do thoroughly enjoy going to the gym. And when the gyms open back up, you know, I'm going to be the first person in there. But in the meantime, I'm hitting the parks, I'm hitting the track down the street, and I'm making sure I get my workout in 5-6 days a week and eating right. But I'm really going to clean up my diet as of tomorrow. But bodybuilding is my absolute favorite thing outside of learning more and more about the Bible and teaching other people the Bible as well. Let me know if you like this type of video. I'm trying to open up my content a little more. Obviously, my channel is real estate investing related, but I'm well versed in a lot of different things, and I definitely want to be able to help you understand how I live my life surrounded by my real estate investing business. I live my life according to 4 pillars. My spiritual life first, my health and fitness second, my family life third. And the only reason why my health and fitness comes before my family is because if I'm not healthy, then I can't take care of my family, right? And then my financial life is always last. That's the least of my worries. Honestly, these 3 pillars that we just talked about helps me to be very successful in the financial aspect of the 4 pillars that I just mentioned. All right, so the first 3 helps fuel the financial aspect of it anyway. At the end of the day, it helps me become successful not only in business but all the way around, and that's what I want to help you do. So if you want to learn more about me and how I do things in my life in order to operate a successful business or in order to create income, I'm just looking to help you get to know me better, and in turn I want to get to know you better as well. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.